Testing, testing. Okay, I think I've got it going. 1 second. Okay, guys, so sorry about the delay. I had to get my audio sorted out there, and my screen isn't fitting either. I've switched back to YouTube. I've been getting too used to streaming on Twitch, and I've switched back to YouTube to check out these new features, and there's a few bugs to iron out yet, but that's the purpose of doing this here, is to suss it out and see if any of you guys want to jump in and join the chat and have a wee bit of crack while I play a little bit of this game. Now, apologies for the screen. The right hand side of my screen is blocked out a wee bit, so you just have to bear with me on that. So I'm just going to lower the volume a wee bit. I want to thank Grimgram for helping moderate on this chat today. As always, is the technical guy in the background is helping me troubleshoot some of these kind of things. So anybody who was watching there, I think I was getting attacked or something, so I'm going to claim these chests and go out and see what was happening. I want to thank all you kind people for your comments on previous videos. Some of them I hope were helpful. Yeah, so there was 2 attacks there, both from this guy. The strange thing about this guy is he sent me a message asking if I had a problem with him mining, and I've asked him why he would think that. So I wonder, has he replied? He got a wee bit of G3 out of me. 2 separate attacks there. So thanks for the wee visit, Thanos. I'm sure you're actually a really nice guy in reality. I want to send a shout out to this glass cutter guy. He was mining in a Fortunate on in Vendus, and I knocked him off that mine because we're in the middle of a mining event. So nothing personal there for you, guy. You see, Thanos hit me a couple of times here. Skywalker, my old buddies there too, you can see. All former NXT, all the guys who thought they ran this server that we're on before we arrived, and I'm still a bit sore that they're not the top dogs in this server anymore. Have had to hide under the skirts of ROG. ROG, of course, being quite heavy hitters, quite big players, and with them, a couple of cool dudes in ROG, but they're hid under the skirts of ROG for long enough and are out, flat out attacking our guys lately. Some of our guys, I believe, are probably winding them up a little bit. That's all part and parcel of the game. And of course, as always, you would thank you, Pure Noise. As always, you would advise that not to take any of this kind of stuff personal in a fantasy world like this. So let's repair these ships. So we're going to do a wee bit of repairing here on these ships. Get them back out during this mining event. So one of the guys left a message in one of my videos for me, basically outlining how risky he felt it was to be recording videos and showing how much resources you've got, or your location, or things like this. And some of you guys who were watching the Scotty's Workshop video, this is why I have nothing to fear from anybody using Scotty's Workshop, because I'm not hiding my location. I'm not hiding if I've got a shield up. I'm not hiding if thank you, Taz. I'm not hiding if I've got resources or not. You know, it's all there and out in the open, so I have nothing to fear. You don't need to use Scotty's Workshop to come and find me. I'm here. Just it'd be nice if you're going to attack me, send me a message. I can perhaps record it, or even get onto a live stream like this, and we can have a bit of fun with the game. And you can take out your big ships and show everybody what power and strength you've got. And I don't mind, guys. I'm not the most powerful player in this game. I'm not in it for that reason. But if you feel that you're on a wee bit of a power trip and you want to show how good you are, or maybe some of these guys like Skywalker or Thanos, there, like they fancy themselves maybe superheroes that are out to save the server from all the bad guys in Hum who arrived and pushed everybody around. Well, sure, come on ahead, guys. I'm here anytime you want. You can wear your underpants on the outside, jump into a phone box and be the superhero, and we'll have a wee bit of crack with that. So the invitation's there. I'm going to stay on for about an hour or so. The invitation's there, so if any of you guys happen to check out the stream or any of that, then feel free to come and pay my base a visit. I'm here, I'm waiting. So I'm in Rator. I like spending time in Rator. I'm of course friendly with the Romulans. So this is a nice wee system to be in. But I'll go down and I'll rotate this miner. He's getting close to his protected limit. He might even be at it. So I might just recall him, because there's a good chance that I'll get this 2 mines free there, so we'll get an A mine somewhere. So I'm just going to transition here for a second, guys, till I check the chat messages. I just want to make sure that there's nothing sensitive. So give me a wee second. So I'm still here, guys. Don't worry, I haven't left you alone. I'm just going to check something here. Okay, guys, so a little bit of interesting stuff. I recommend all of you guys go and check your private messages, because it looks like Scotty's elves are out and about and starting to spam messages at people to use it. I hope JB and co are working on this and looking at this, and that there's moderators in there to deal with this. Because what we're looking at here is 2 messages, one from Officer Anderson and a string of numbers, and Officer Roberts and a string of numbers, 46 minutes ago and 30 minutes ago. And it's showing this old nonsense here. Stay away from it, guys. You'll poison your account. Look at this nonsense. Officer Anderson and co. Now, how do I should be able to report that message. There we go. And this guy as well. So block as well, guys. So obviously we accounts getting created level 2. So Scotty's elves are active on the servers, guys, spamming their crap at people. Report it, block them, and do what you need to do. And just a quick shout out to Thanos again there. 9 hours ago, took a couple hours to get back. We're obviously in different time zones. No response yet, but we can see that was 9 hours ago. So there's over 9 hours ago. He hit me in his Vaclus. Can I go back a wee bit further? Skywalker, a few other guys. You can see a few of the NXT guys there, look at. Hitting their minors. Ernie, who's really a wannabe hum. You see it from his Alliance title. You can see that kind of stuff going on there, guys. And Thanos' reply, instead of explaining his private message to me, was to hit me twice on mines there. So clearly communication issues. We can get that sorted out. You see where my base is now, Thanos, so come on ahead on. We'll put you on YouTube, lad. And get this ship repaired. So we see how we're getting on in this event. There's a limited time officer. I've often spoke about these. They're not really great rewards in them. Station event on, but these mining ones, guys, these are obviously the ones. There's the Romulan reputation popping up again. Okay, so our alliance is rank 2 there. Just behind Rug. Sauce, fair bit behind there. Sauce probably won't catch us now at this stage. It's unlikely we'll catch Rug. But we're all aiming for this solo. So I have 700,000 to get. So that's roughly 72k in G3. And I've got 16 hours to do it. So it's going to be tight. I need to get these miners back out. And 62nd in the Mega Mining Special. So that would have me in the bottom tier of rewards. Latinum is alright there. Spock's number 1. Let's see. To get to 50th, you want to be on 2.5 million plus. Not an awful distance behind him, but all these guys are probably flat out mining, so it'll change hands a wee bit, but not certain if I'll make it above 50th position in that. And the rewards just on the Alliance, Chang and T'Pring. I'm close to leveling up T'Pring there, so it'll be nice to see her a little bit stronger. And again, Alliance credits and Latinum, you won't say no. But considering the effort it takes to get that amount of resources mined from an entire group of people, it's shabby enough. Okay, so let's get these guys out again. So guys, as always, apologies in advance for breaking game etiquette here. I'll try and monitor this, but in a situation where I'm warping into Klingon space, I do warp to mine with this guy on the bridge, because it really means, like, I can't do this with, if say here with T'Pring, I can't send her in the Federation space for gas, for example, and sit on the mine and successfully mine it, because eventually she'll take that many hits in that miner that after like 10 minutes or so, that miner will be destroyed and it'll be home and I'll be repairing it. However, I can demonstrate that maybe in a wee minute, but if I warp the mine with this guy on the bridge, and I've said this before in a previous video, I don't know if that's because he's Klingon or what the story is, but it seems to be that I'll take one hit from a hostile ship, interceptor ship or whatever, coming to get me, and that'll be it, and I'll be left to safely mine then. I can't do the same. Let me see if I can find a free spot in Priya or Voss maybe, and demonstrate the difference in how this works. Now, it'd be nice to be proven wrong in this and find a free spot and be able to mine this gas. Gas is the toughest thing I find able to mine because both Klingon and Federation hostile to me. Can mine ore no problem. So nothing there. Maybe Voss. You can see everybody's out mining this G3 for this event, and I know Skywalker and NXT and others who were all very faithful and loyal to NXT. I know they all don't like the tag of being pests, but how are you not a pest when every single HOM member that's out trying to mine are the only ones really that are suffering? Sauce and the other HSS members, Sauce and Sword, are getting hit as well, but how can you justify that when ROG aren't being hit or nobody else is being hit, and the likes of these players are out there just targeting certain players, stopping them from participating in this mining event? Like, when you know, you can see they're flat out hitting us, but they're hitting nobody else, and it's not coming and hitting our bases or any kind of thing they got there. It's completely stopping us from mining in this event. That's all part of the game and that's all grand, but it's pest behavior when it's targeted only at certain people. So if the cap fits, guys, you know. So there's no free mines there for me either. I wonder could have knocked somebody off maybe just to demonstrate this. I don't know if there's anybody there who we're unfriendly with, and this is the downside to trying to have peace and having so many allies, guys, is that it limits your targets. Now Indy there, I don't think we have an alliance with Indy. I could hit Indy. The problem with this is I don't want to hit this guy. I don't want to knock him off a mine. But there is an event on. I keep getting hit off mines. I can't be allowed to mine safely because of these pests. So unfortunately, AUSB, Indy, these kind of guys, we're allied with Sword, for example. HOM have them, Sauce. We're no hits on Loki and all the other alliances, ROG included, and whatever else. We have do not hits on all them guys. So it's very limited as to who's on the server that we're allowed to actually attack if we're not going rogue and doing our own thing. Now a couple of players have done that. They're way off and they're going rogue. The problem here is if I go and attack AUSB, Indy, or HMAS here, one of them guys might be a bit sore about the fact that I've knocked them off the mine, and entitled to be sore maybe, but they could end up then getting comforted by certain mischievous elements that start to tell them that, oh, we're nothing but big bullies and HOM are always doing this and blah blah blah. And really the only reason why I need to attack Indy or any of these alliances we don't have a deal with is because A, we don't have a deal with them, and B, the mines that I was sitting on, I keep getting knocked off them by the pests. So take it up with the pest guys. Like, anytime I'm on a mine, maybe they just want me to put them on YouTube or something, but anytime I'm on a mine, I'm getting knocked off it. So unfortunately, somebody else is gonna get knocked off, and that's the food chain, I guess, you know. So I'm seeing that this HMAS guy is he's mining away with a fortunate there. Now, these guys, I suppose, are benefiting to some degree from the pests, so we're not going to complain about that. But he's sitting there on two mines, So I'm going to take one of them of them. I'm going to take this one of them. So we'll warp straight to that, and we'll see what happens with the Federation hostiles when she's sitting on that mine. I could get knocked off this mine again by Federation hostiles, so this could be pointless. So apologies in advance to Schizo. You're a test subject here, and I'm deliberately picking your weaker mining ship, the one that's going to cost you less to repair. If I wanted to be nasty about it or wanted to be a bully about it, I'd just come down and knock you off both of these mines, and I'd be hitting your stronger ships and costing you more in repairs. So it's not a case of that. I'm hitting you on the place that you're going to be hurt least, and at least you get to show that you've been on YouTube. So we let them do the business. Hopefully my mind is still free in Rator while I've been dilly-dallying there. It may not be. It is. Grand job. Let's send this ship out. One of the sauce guys is there. Thankfully he's moving on. He might have seen me coming and out of respect just moseyed on his way. He may be just having a wee nosy. What's he sitting on? Oh. North Star. Having a wee nosy about. Okay, so there's the Klingon ship arriving. So thankfully there's nobody on that mine, so there'll be no crying and whinging about the warp to mine. And there'll be a Klingon ship coming in on me here very shortly from somewhere. So there it is. So it's a 46k attack ship against a 49k miner. Shouldn't do me too much damage. Okay, so I'm just going to transition again for a second, just check messages again, guys. Okay, so nothing coming in there. So I'm going to just take a wee moment here, guys, just to check out chat here and see what's going on and say hello to all you guys. Right, so again, thanks to Grimgram for moderating here. And so, will servers ever merge? Well, we already had a server merge, and I was a fan of Morton Harkett back in the day, so presumably that's where you get your name, but we had a server merge, and the legacy of that server merge is still biting at us today, because some of them alliances that noses were knocked out of joint when we arrived, they're still being quite aggressive to us. They don't like it. Now some of the DNA has mixed from the servers, but it can cause a lot of hassle too, but we'll see how that goes. I see Hugo there. Yeah, Hugo's just replying to that server merge thing. Thanks, Hugo. Not a priority. Right. Thanks, Sync. Look at you live streaming. I have done a wee bit on Twitch. Getting too used to the Twitch thing. Hi there, Laromi. So how long are you streaming for? So I'm only planning to do about an hour or so, Sync. There was a few comments that people were making on videos, and there was a few people there that seemed to have issues. So I just wanted to go out there live and see if anybody wanted to pay me a visit to my base while I was online, and see if they want to come in and chat directly live and bring out their issues and do a few questions and answers with people. Especially after the Scotty's Workshop thing, and now that Scotty's Workshop are stepping up, they're peddling their wares into the servers. You might have seen at the start of the stream there some of the messages. And Grim Graham answered that one there. Yeah, it's up to yourself, man. I'm not doing this for any promotion. It's partly a test. I'm not doing it really to be promoted just tonight. It's partly a test on this new YouTube. YouTube have changed their settings a wee bit. Yeah, right, so there's a message deleted there. Grimgram's telling me that it was just about watching chat. So some of the chat I want to show at Sync, you know, warts and all kind of stuff, man. No, and I'm not using a dual screen. I just rather focus directly on the game, show what's going on in the game, and then jump back to the chat at moments when it's quiet like that. For example, when a ship is en route. So I'm just going to jump back into the game. Any of you guys have any more comments or observations there, questions, anything like that there, feel free to jump in. Grimgram will deal with some of them while I focus on the game, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so that ship's on a mine. Okay, so there should be a Federation ship, another one coming in at me somewhere. There it is. And that's 50k strength ship going up against a 43k strength ship. Again, shouldn't damage me too much, but that's 2 hits in a row, I believe. Check it now. Right, so that hit Schizo. Right, so this is the first Federation attack on me, actually. So let's see if another one comes in at me after that. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so you see here, I'm still getting the trespassing on Federation space message. There'll be another ship incoming from somewhere. We'll come back to that in a minute. We'll just go down and check on the ship in Klingon space. We haven't been getting any messages from the Klingons. And like I say, guys, I think that's because I have a Klingon at the helm. I'm not certain. I thought for a while at the very start when I noticed this that it was because of the warp to mine. So I kind of just try to warp to mine in these situations, even though I know it's kind of... It's not really approved, looked upon, it's frowned upon a wee bit, you know. But yeah, right, there's a Federation combat ship coming at me. So that's probably an interesting one for you, Hugo, or any of you guys there that are into monitoring the detail, the mechanics of the game and that. I'm thinking it's the Klingon captain. Presumably, T'Pring being Vulcan just doesn't cut it in Federation space. Okay, so we'll wait and see what happens. That ship's just going to get destroyed, guys, so yeah, that's demonstrated that wee bit. Let's open these 2 chests. Now, it'd be interesting if any of you guys currently have the game to hand and you're playing it, no matter what server you're on or anywhere else. I'd be very interested, guys, before the end of the stream, if you could check in and see if you've got a private message from a random made-up character advertising Scotty's Workshop. Is that just happening on our server, or are all of you guys getting that? And remember, report and block if you do get them messages. I've seen this happen in other games, but generally speaking, it's always been clamped down on pretty heavily by moderators and stuff. It's going to put Scopely under pressure if I have to be moderating messages more regularly. But private messages like that, it's tough. There's 3 attacks from the Federation, guys, and one attack from the Klingons. I'm even friendlier with the Federation than I am with the Klingons. I'm nearly on minus 2 million with the Klingons. Now, you can see from here, I've sent in a ticket into support from this. Romulan consort rep, it's sitting on 1 million flat. Now, if you look at Federation and Klingon, it clearly shows there that specific detailed number. It's the exact number in terms of the rep. But Romulans for me has been sitting on 1 million like that for months. Anybody that looks back through my videos will see that anytime I've gone into the faction screen here, that's the way it's been sitting. So I've sent in a ticket. Hopefully they'll resolve that. I don't know why that's just sitting on 1 million flat. I should be close to or even beyond 2 million now, probably, with the Romulans, given that that's how bad my rep is with the Federation and the Klingons. There was a time when that wasn't like that, and I was still heavily favoured by the Romulans. And that's the negative progression that's happened there, the minus progression there that's happened from doing all the Romulan events and all the Romulan dailies and all of that. But it seems like it hasn't been added to my Romulan reputation. I'm hoping it is, but it's just hidden, and that when it hits 2 million that'll change, but I can't say that. Now there's that ship after getting destroyed by the Federation. So you can clearly see there, guys, I can't mine in Federation space. Gas is difficult. However, going into Klingon space doesn't seem to be half the problem. So anybody watching there after a gas mine on my server, there you go. Schizo, if you're watching, get back on that mine quick, buddy. I only wanted it to demonstrate that feature. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to transition again very, very briefly. Check this chat again. Okay, so nothing of note. Okay, so I need to find gas now in neutral space. So the 2 obvious spots is here in Aphrotalis. It's going to be full to the gills. There's going to be none free unless there's been a pest going around. Look at, there's somebody just after moving on to one. Just missed it. Phil McCracken. We know what he wants. So swords after getting that mine. It's not looking good. Now, who's this? That's a rogue player. Now, he may have fallen asleep. So I might nip in here and try to get that. Okay, so while that's traveling there, I don't know if Gucci's going to get onto that mine. Like I say, a man could have fallen asleep, or he might have been parked there to take over, and somebody else was on this mine and left. But we have just under 5 minutes, so I'll jump in the chat here again, guys, and okay. Right, so Grim deleted my chat. He did indeed. You don't mess with this guy. You don't mess with it. He's an ignorant fella. That's why I have him doing the moderating in the chat, because he'd be a little bit more ruthless than I would be. Think it was only giving advice questions. Yeah, it's much appreciated, lad. Are these the most powerful survey ships you have? I don't know how powerful they get at level 27. I have the ECS Horizon. I probably can't give you a look at that until I have a ship at home. I'll see what I can do before the end of the stream, just to show you my ECS Horizon. It's sitting at around 150 odd K, 160K maybe. So, but listen, the mining ships can get even more powerful. Like back before they put the level cap on the faction ships, you were able to get a faction miner like an Antares or a Covort or something like that. Some of the guys that had them at level 26, level 27, it's really down to the amount of resources they had to be able to upgrade them. And if they had the resources to be able to upgrade them, then some of them ships could be up on 400k. Some of them faction ships, and may even go higher. I don't have one. I'm sick whining about how my faction miner blueprints were taken off me at the server merge. I should have had an Antares at level 26, and it should be up. It should be the ship that I was upgrading instead of the Horizon. But instead I had to go on the long hard slog to get the ECS Horizon, and I've leveled it up a wee bit now. So now that's the ship I use for base raiding and things like that. Yeah, so on BlueStacks, yeah. Yeah, so the advice is appreciated, Sync, and you know the score yourself when the chat goes quiet and all. You're keeping this chat going, lads, so fair play to you. You can give Grim Graham a bit of abuse there, but keep it as clean as you can. He'll not be long giving you a wee bit of abuse back. But I don't want to have to delete this chat later on, so just be mindful of that, I suppose. So I'm going to jump back into the game here. This ship's about a minute out. Yeah, about 70k, 71k to go in about 15 hours. Okay, so this is nearly here. Yeah, so it looks like Gucci's fallen asleep. Probably busy making shoes and handbags and things like that. There we go, there's a gas mine. Let's see how long we can hold that for. Let me shout out to the doc and Fool and Sir Elijah while we're at it. Don't know who these knackers are here. Duo. Oh, there's the king. Look. Okay. There's a few new alliances on our server. Haven't looked at this in a while. So in total power, we're still out ahead, even though we dropped a few members. And we're up to 6th. Loki always seemed to manage to stay out of conflict. They don't seem to ever really go to war with anybody. RPH have had their moments. You can see here, there's NXT at 18, they're ranked 18, there's only 7 members left in it, but they're clinging on to some kind of idea of identity and stuff, it seems, which, like, I get it, and fair play to them for it, but times have moved on, guys. Catch up at the times here, like, you know, we could be looking at another server merger yet, we could be looking at server v server, PvP, God knows what is coming in the future. About time you get over yourselves and realise that this server might have to stand together at some point. I know you don't see yourselves as pests, but in these attempts to be seen as some sort of defenders of the server, you've got 7 members left. Everybody else has moved off into other alliances. You're left hanging in there, and you know you're fully entitled to your identity as one of the early alliances on this server too. But it's all now the founders server, guys. We're all founders now at this stage, and yeah, if you want to grow that alliance and reclaim your identity, it's time to have peace and stop playing nice with people instead of being sneaky and going around hitting them and them claiming like you're victims. See, Duo, mostly harmless. I think Crichton's in charge of this. Crichton's a cool guy, yeah. So a few heavy hitters in that alliance, a small alliance as well. But they don't go around annoying anybody. They do their own thing and they get left alone because you wouldn't want Crichton coming after you. And a good sense of humour there. So a lot of these alliances could be left inactive. There's Sith 2 in it. Really only created there to be Black Ops unit. This is what goes on. People leave, they go rogue to settle personal debts and things like that there. I'm pretty sure most of ROG don't know or approve of the way Sith are behaving and carrying on, but there are certainly ROG members and NXT members and that feeding them information so that they can largely target HUM, but also the other HSS members. That's what keeps it going. You see, there's a Hivemind Alliance, 3 members in it. Yeah, so some of these are probably gone inactive. Mako are one that used to be around. We don't hear about them anymore. Still 15 members in it, but not really a force to be reckoned with anymore. Let me see who else is here. Single member alliances like Sons of Anarchy and ROG Hunter, and there's some gay that ROG must have pissed off. But again, 3.5 million, like he's House of Muppets, so this is the HUM wannabe. Still got a few Romanians left here, maybe 40 members, but how active they are I don't know. Yeah, so that's more or less it, guys. Nobody, like, these are all dead or very minor alliances now. The resources rated, you can see for a 2-man alliance, Sith are way out in front of Sauce. If there's any evidence needed who's the best, there's that. Some going for 2 gays. Power destroyed, same story. So respect to them guys for going out and kicking ass, but one would wonder, and the question has been asked already, one would wonder, is it all being done within game rules, or is there outside supports and outside bots and software and God knows what being used for these guys to be so effectively, for 2 of them to be so effectively destroying that power and raiding those resources against all these high level bases? Is that really legit? And it's a question that's been asked. I can't answer it. I see Char's way out in front. Char's cool dude. Rommel not far behind him. Phil, there's our top 5. Pearlie's parted ways with us, guys. I'm sure it was a positive enough experience for Pearlie. I'm sure Pearlie has built a few relationships. I never really got to know Pearlie very well or become friends or anything, but it certainly improved my relationship with Pearlie. There's a bit more mutual respect there now for the time spent in Hum. We look at our top 10. And we see Crichton, Devilman, Hiltz is there in 10th, 7 of 9. I've a load of respect for 7 and 9 here. 7 and 9's quiet player, never really sits there talking to anybody or annoying anybody's head. Gets on and does their own thing and does pretty well at it. Some people miss Scar. I think Scar's gone. Scar used to be the #1 pest. That crown has been taken now. I have never heard of Wanglo Cat, so presumably that's a name change. And Morrigan's still in the top 5. Morrigan's gone quiet. So it's Morrigan that's Rog hates Rog Hunter. So it's them. It's I didn't even know that Morrigan's a good guy actually. But obviously he's got very peeved at shenanigans within Rog. I haven't spoke to him in a while. I thought he had gone inactive, to be honest with you. You see, he's there in a 1-man alliance out there, wearing his underpants on the outside as well, presumably. I think if you went and searched for in the yellow pages at the time to look for drainage experts, I think Morrigan's name would be near top of the list. And in reply to Sync's question there about the faction miners, about the mining ships, how strong to get, Morrigan's one of the guys, had one of these top faction miners, like 400k plus. Few guys have them, but Morrigan was one of the ones had one of these top faction miners. He was the guy that if you were draining the base when his miner came along, like it was taking severe resources out of bases. Like we were sitting there in envoys, and if we were lucky to have ECS Horizons where you're taking maybe 100, 200k, 50k if it's an envoy, Morrigan comes along in his yoke and he's taking 1 million maybe or something. It's crazy, like, you know. So yeah, big additions, faction miners if you can get them, but now level capped, you can't get them until a certain level. Not sure which faction miner he had. There's the Antares, that's the one that I should have had. So you can build a Kera there. Should have been able to build a Saladin, of course. I've got all the blueprints, but then level 28 for that, and level 30 for the faction miners. Yeah, so I think there's still stuff in the event store here. There is indeed. I have 580 of these left. So hopefully the next time round I'll be able to add them to my total. Nothing I can buy. But what I did get, and I have in reserve, 6 million power steel, 10 million titanium and 300,000 dilithium. Dilithium I'm not too worried about, because when I upgrade ops, when I do combat training veteran 31, I get 1.8 million dilithium for that. So I'm holding on to that for a while, and I'll do that when I'm ready, when I need dilithium. And I'm looking towards ops level 28. I'm going to jump into the station here. Now at ops level 28, some people have heard me giving out about the reward sets that you get from that previous event, that active war event, for example. 90 million at level 28, 18.7 million target at level 27. That's some jump from level 27 to 28. That makes me a little bit reluctant to make that jump. If I knew that Scopely were going to balance out those rewards a bit better, I'd do that. The one good thing about it is it'll unlock that 4th dry dock for me, and I'll be able to operate a 4th ship. There's a few researches that I'll be able to do at level 28 and stuff that I can't access at the minute. But I'm reluctant, guys, to do that. Now, 10.5 million, I'm at 4.4 there, and you've seen I have 6 million in reserve, so I could do that now, probably. I just don't know if I want to. One of the other things that I've been asking a question on in Discord, I haven't checked Discord, so I'm not so sure if it's been answered yet. One of the things I was asking some of the guys was about these mining rewards. So if there's anybody listening or watching that is level 28 doing these miner rewards, like, are these mining rewards here at 2.9 million with those rewards for it? Is it 2.9 million for somebody at level 28 as well, or does that jump ridiculously as well once you hit 28? So that's a question that I have for people, if anybody can answer that. Yeah, so I might do ops. If somebody can answer that question and there's no significant difference, then I might hit ops level 28 or set it to go before I finish this stream. I'll do a wee bit of refining. Apologies for that really long-winded refining video, but there were some people asking for it. Like I say, I'm generally lower on gas, but there was a gas event on today, so I'm going to do a double refine batch on the gas as well. Plenty of ore, no shortage of it. So I get this refining done, guys, and I'll pop into the chat these in a wee second. Any questions or any comments, throw them out now and I'll deal with them in a second. So this old YouTube streaming is a slightly different buzz to the Twitch streaming. So that'll do me on the refines for now. No recruiting to be done. Anything to get in the Alliance store. 100 credits. Let me see. 12-hour peace shield for that. Okie doke. So I have a handful of these nodes to be upgraded as well. I could work on them before I hit Ops 28, but I'm not certain. I have all of the platforms and defense turrets done. So we'll see what way that goes. Let me pop into this chat for a wee second. Yeah, so you're going to send me a second monitor. I'm actually grand for a monitor sync. I have a wee setup here that I'm kind of happy with. And to be honest, like I have a nice big screen here in front of me and stuff. But I don't really have the space for a second screen, to be honest with you. That's why I don't have one already, you know. Sometimes when you have a child running around the place as well, like it, and dogs and things like that, it's not conducive to having too much equipment around. But I appreciate the offer, man. Okay. Okay, so you're offering to whisper to Grimgram. Work away there, lads. Whisper away to each other. So you've a key for Final Fantasy 14 online. Is that a free key? Is that for a download, or is that for in-game items, or what is that? Level all jobs, crafts about right. Yeah. So in Final Fantasy 14, I played it in its when it just came out of beta, and everybody then was free to play. It was kind of still in beta. I don't know, Grimgram can kind of explain that a wee bit more. That period is about 5 or 6 years ago, probably at this stage. I played 14, and yeah, and then they relaunched it and stuff. So I kind of quit around that time. I had like a special edition version of it, and there was a wee book and all the whole set came with it and all that there. But I contacted them recently to see there's certain founders kind of membership, there's certain items that you get, and I contacted them recently, and I think there's a discount as well on your subscription or something if you were a founder. I contacted them recently to see if I was entitled to any of that, and they told me that it wasn't, so I don't think 14 would be for me just yet. But I'm going to do a bit of Final Fantasy 11 streaming on Twitch later on after this. I'll get a break and grab a cup of tea and stuff. I'm going to do an hour or two on it, because Final Fantasy 11 really was the first love when it comes to online gaming. Okay, so you're going to send me that key anyway, grand. So level cap for rewards. So yeah, there is there is the changes when it comes to that, like the 27 to 28, 25 to 27, you're right, 20 to 24, you're right. They're like kind of grouped together, if you like, and then there's a change once you move that level. What I'm more concerned with though is the dramatic changes that happens from 27 to 28 when it comes to like the Active War event, for example. It was 90 million target in that event for 28 and 18.7 million for 27. So given that, that's a ridiculous jump. That would encourage you to stay at 27 for a bit longer. I'm not sure just though on the other events if it's scaled the same way. And so Ambrose is saying here at level 29 is 3.6 million. So that's not too frightening. If it's 3.6 million for level 28 as well, that's not too frightening, because then it could have a fourth mining ship, for example, and it might help. Right, so it's key for the full game. Yeah, I'm not sure what way that would work for me, Sync, because it was the discounted subscription I was interested in. I have the full game bought. I'm sure I'd be entitled to a free download of that game because I bought that game, a special edition version of that game, back when it was first released. So even though the key would be useful in the sense of just getting a quick download to it, I'm probably entitled to it anyway. It's the discounted fucking the discounted subscription that I was more interested in, that they said I'm not entitled to, you know. Ambrose is saying, so we reckon level 28 is 3.3. You could be right, it could scale per level, or it could be, as Sync was saying, that from, like for example, from level 28 to level 30, for example, it might be 3.6 million. I'm not sure, we can check that. You left me a message on Discord, Sync, cheers. Yeah, no bother, I'll check that after the stream. So let me get back into this game here. So clearly Thanos isn't watching. I invited him to come along and visit my base while I was online, have a bit of fun with him. Skywalker, any of them included, but nobody wants to play. Good man, Sync. I'll check out what you're doing later on. I'll catch you later, buddy. Thanks for popping by. Okay, so I have no idea how long I've been going for here now. Just let me check that. Okay, so that's an hour, over an hour there now. So I'm going to cut it soon, guys. I want to thank everybody who's turned out and participated. I want to get a little bit, it's a Sunday evening for me, so I want to get a little bit of Final Fantasy in before I go to bed. So I'm going to switch streams very shortly to Twitch. So if any of you guys fancy hanging out for another wee while on a different game, you're more than welcome to come and join me over in Twitch. I don't know if Grimgram can post a link there or anything. I have no idea exactly what we're going to do on that stream later on, but we'll probably try and fail at forming a party and getting experience points or something like that. Alright, so there's nothing going on here. Let me just refresh these mines. What I like to do is, I don't know, I think it does count when you get hit, when I get knocked off a mine. So for example, if somebody came along and knocked me off this mine, I think the 2,000 crystal will count towards my event rewards, but just to be safe and very cautious, sometimes I move them off like that just to make sure that it counts towards my points. Might be a wee bit OCD of me, but it's better to be safe and all that there. Okay, so where's that got me to? So another 67k mined in many hours? 15 hours. We'll see if that's doable. May or may not be achievable there. Refresh these mines maybe. We'll see how it goes. Okay guys, so I'm going to call it at that. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in. All you guys take care of yourselves. Appreciate all the interactions from everybody. Grimgram has posted up a link to Twitch. So yeah, thanks for making this stream enjoyable enough for an hour to go past as quickly as it did. I think we've gotten to grips with the way this YouTube changes have taken effect. We'll try it again at some stage in the future. And until then, look out for each other, and I'll catch all you guys again very, very shortly. Cheers.